From the library of Joseph Okocha stories comes another untold story of a dedicated Nigerian police officer, the Watchful Eye, a true life story.
The Watchful Eye. I met him 12 years ago. He was a police officer with the Nigerian police force, quiet, dignified, and recovering from an illness that had nearly taken his life. He had come to visit his in-law, another officer who lived in the flats above mine. That afternoon we sat in my living room. Sunlight poured through the window, painting the walls gold. We spoke about ordinary things at first: life, family, the small struggles of everyday living. Slowly the conversation changed. Duty, conscience, choice. He spoke calmly, but every word carried weight. He had served many years in the Nigerian police force, mostly in Lagos State. He was from Edo State. He had lost his first wife, who left behind a grown daughter. His family later urged him to remarry, and he did. As he spoke, I noticed something in his eyes, a quiet sadness. The kind that belongs to a man who has seen too much. The kind that belongs to a man who has wrestled with his conscience and chosen, again and again, to do what is right. I have seen many officers cut corners, he said. They think it is smart, but it never ends well. You can cheat the system for a while, but you can't cheat justice forever. Then he leaned forward. His voice dropped. And he told me a story I would never forget. One morning at Ojata Motor Park in Lagos, he was traveling from Lagos to his hometown in Edo State. He bought a ticket and took a middle seat in a 14-seater bus. While waiting for the bus to fill up, something caught his attention. Two young men, restless, uneasy. Their body language felt wrong. Years of training stirred inside him. They kept making repeated phone calls, glancing around nervously as if waiting for someone who had not yet arrived. Something was wrong. He quietly asked a passenger in front to swap seats with him. From that position, he could see everything through the driver's mirror. He put on his dark goggles, not to hide, but to sharpen his focus. Soon, a third young man arrived. The bus filled up. One of the three wanted to get down, but the others persuaded him to stay. The engine started. The journey began. The officer waited. Just outside Lagos, the bus pulled into a fuel station. At the same time, a police patrol van drove in. Officers stepped out, also waiting to buy fuel. He knew this was his chance. He stepped down from the bus, walked calmly to the patrol leader, identified himself, and showed his ID. Then he pointed. "Those three men in that bus, I believe they are armed. Please search them." No delay. The officers moved in. They searched the three men. Weapons were found, but he wasn't done. He insisted that everyone, the suspects, the passengers, and even the driver, be taken to the nearest police station. Some passengers complained. "Officer, abeg, we no get time. Na dem you catch, no be us." But he stood his ground. At the station, statements were taken. The three men sat quietly, unable to look at each other. Under questioning, they confessed. They were planning to kidnap one of their own relatives. The youngest among them had an uncle, a wealthy government official from Abuja, who was traveling to the village that week. He provided the information. He recruited his friends. They planned to share the ransom. The crime ended before it began, because one police officer chose to pay attention. When everything was over, one of the patrol officers tapped him on the shoulder. "You did well, sir. Not everyone would have noticed. Not everyone would have cared." He smiled faintly. Once a policeman, always a policeman. He returned to his journey as quietly as he had lived. When he finished telling the story, the room was silent. Sunlight still lay across the floor. A fan hummed softly. I looked at him and said, "With your permission, I would like to make a movie about your story someday." He smiled. "If it teaches others that honesty still pays, then it is worth telling." We shook hands. His grip was weak but firm in spirit. And then a strange stillness came over me. Deep inside, a voice whispered, "By the time you tell this man's story, he will no longer be here." Years later, I heard he had passed away. I sat in silence and remembered that afternoon. The sunlight, his voice, his quiet decency. I knew it was time to keep my word, to tell his story, not just as a memory, but as a tribute, a salute to a hero in plain clothes, a man who wore a uniform many had come to distrust, yet lived with courage inside it. This story is for him, the watchful eye, the one who saw what others missed,